Welcome. I want to tell you something honestly. This is not just another video with a few simple tips that you hear and forget. This is something deeper. This is about real change. Because today, we are talking about something that controls your life more than you think. We are talking about your reactions. And the truth is simple. Your reactions decide your peace. Your reactions decide your relationships. Your reactions decide your future. We live in a world where people are constantly trying to get a reaction from you. Someone says something negative. Someone ignores you. Someone disrespects you. Someone lies. And in that moment, most people react immediately. They feel anger. They feel hurt. They respond without thinking. And in just a few seconds, they lose something valuable. They lose their peace. They lose their control. They lose their power. Most people don't even realize how much damage comes from these small reactions. One argument can destroy a friendship. One message can end a relationship. One moment of anger can change how people see you forever. And the worst part is, after everything is done, you sit quietly and think, I should not have reacted like that. But by then, the damage is already done. So today, I want you to slow down and listen carefully. Because if you truly understand what I am about to explain, you will become a different person. You will become calm. You will become strong. You will become someone who is not easily controlled by the world. Not because the world becomes better, but because you become better. Let us begin with a simple truth. When you react without thinking, you give control to others. If someone can say one sentence and change your mood, then they are controlling you. If someone can ignore you and make you feel weak, then they are controlling you. If someone can insult you and make you angry, then they are controlling you. Many people believe that reacting quickly shows strength. They think that answering back immediately means confidence. But in reality, fast reaction shows lack of control. It shows that your emotions are stronger than your mind. It shows that anyone can influence your behavior with just a few words. Think about your life. How many times did you react too quickly? How many times did you say something and regret it later? How many times did you lose your peace because you could not stay calm? These moments are not small. These moments shape your life. There was a young man working in an office. He was hardworking. He stayed late. He followed every rule. People respected him. But one day, his manager criticized him in front of everyone. The criticism was not fair. It hurt him deeply. In that moment, he reacted. He raised his voice. He argued. He tried to defend himself. The room became silent. Everyone was watching. The manager did not react. He stayed calm. After the meeting, nothing was said. But from that day, people stopped seeing that young man as professional. They started seeing him as emotional. One reaction changed everything. He did not lose because of the criticism. He lost because of his reaction. Now think about this. What if he had paused? What if he had taken a deep breath and stayed calm? What if he had responded later with clarity instead of reacting in anger? His image would have stayed strong. His respect would have remained. This is the power of pause. When you pause, you break the automatic reaction. You give your mind time to think. You allow your emotions to settle. And in that space, you regain control. The next time someone disrespects you, do not react immediately. Stop. Take a breath. Give yourself a few seconds. In those few seconds, your entire response can change. Instead of reacting emotionally, you can respond intelligently. Now let us move to another important truth. Most reactions become regrets. When you react in anger, you may feel strong for a moment. But later, you feel regret. You think about what you said. You think about what you could have done differently. And that regret stays with you. You do not remember the insult as much as you remember your reaction. You do not remember the problem as much as you remember how you handled it. This is why control is so important. There was a woman who loved her sister deeply. They were very close. One day, during a family gathering, her sister made a comment that hurt her. It touched an old emotional wound. Without thinking, she reacted. She raised her voice. She said things she did not mean. The situation became uncomfortable. The family became silent. After that day, their relationship changed. They stopped talking the same way. The connection was broken. Years later, that woman still felt regret. Not because of the comment, but because of her reaction. One moment of anger created years of distance. This is how powerful reactions are. They can destroy what took years to build. So what is the solution? The solution is to respond, not react. When something happens, you feel emotion. That is natural. You cannot control what you feel, but you can control what you do next. When you feel anger, do not act immediately. Let the emotion pass through you. Give yourself time. Respond when you are calm. Respond when you can think clearly. This one habit can change your relationships, your decisions, and your life. Now let us talk about silence. Silence is often misunderstood. People think silence is weakness. They think if you do not respond, you are afraid. But in reality, silence is power. It takes strength to stay quiet when you want to speak. It takes control to walk away when you want to argue. It takes confidence to not prove yourself every time someone challenges you. The strongest people are not the loudest. They are the calmest. They do not react to everything. They choose when to speak and when to stay silent. There was a man who was publicly criticized online. People were spreading false information about him. Everyone expected him to respond. Everyone was waiting for his reaction. But he stayed silent. Days passed, weeks passed. People started questioning the situation. Eventually, the truth came out, and his silence was seen as strength. If he had reacted immediately, the situation would have become bigger. But his silence protected his image. His silence gave him power. Not every situation needs your response. Not every person deserves your energy. Sometimes, the best thing you can do is say nothing and move forward. Now let us understand another important idea. Not everything deserves your energy. Your energy is limited. You have a certain amount of focus, attention, and emotional strength every day. If you spend it on unnecessary arguments, you will have nothing left for your goals. Many people waste their energy on small problems. They argue with people who do not matter. They try to prove themselves to people who do not care. And at the end of the day, they feel tired and empty. You must learn to choose where you invest your energy. Ask yourself, is this worth my time? If the answer is no, let it go. Protect your energy. Use it for things that matter. Now let us talk about calmness. Calmness is not weakness. Calmness is strength. When you stay calm, you think clearly. You make better decisions. You see situations as they are, not as your emotions make them appear. Most people react like storms. They shout. They panic. They lose control. But calm people are different. They stay steady. They remain focused. And because of that, they handle situations better. There was an old man sitting in a train. A young man entered angrily. He was shouting and pushing people. Everyone became tense. Some people reacted. Some people moved away. But the old man stayed calm. When the angry man approached him, the old man spoke softly. He asked what had happened. His calmness changed the situation. The angry man stopped shouting. He calmed down. One calm person changed the entire environment. This is the power of calmness. It influences others. It brings stability. It creates control. Now understand this. Reaction is a habit. Response is a skill. Most people react because they are used to reacting. It has become automatic. They do not think. They just respond emotionally. But response is different. Response requires awareness. It requires control. It requires practice. You must train yourself to pause and think before you act. Every time you pause, you are training your mind. Every time you choose not to react, you are building strength. Over time, this becomes natural. Now let us talk about ego. Ego is one of the biggest reasons people react. Ego wants to prove. Ego wants respect. Ego wants to be right. When ego feels attacked, it pushes you to react. But ego is not your strength. Ego creates problems. Ego makes you argue. Ego makes you fight unnecessary battles. Ego makes you lose your peace. You do not need to prove your worth to everyone. You do not need to respond to every negative comment. You do not need to win every argument. There was a man who worked for a company for many years. He gave his time and effort. One day he was replaced without explanation. He felt angry. His ego wanted him to react. He wanted to expose the company. He wanted revenge. But instead, he chose to stay calm. He walked away. He focused on himself. Over time, he built something better. His success came from control, not reaction. When you let go of ego, you gain peace. When you stop trying to prove yourself, you become free. Now let us bring everything together. You do not need to react to everything. You do not need to fight every battle. You do not need to give your energy to every situation. You are more than your reactions. You are more than your emotions. You have the ability to choose. You have the ability to stay calm. You have the ability to respond with clarity. From today, practice this. When something happens, pause. Take a breath. Think before you speak. Choose your response. This is not easy at first, but with practice, it becomes natural. And when it becomes natural, your life changes. You will feel more peaceful. You will feel more in control. You will make better decisions. Your relationships will improve. Your mind will become stronger. The world will not change. People will still behave the same way. Situations will still be difficult, but you will be different. And that difference will change everything. Stay calm. Stay in control. Protect your peace. Because real power is not in reacting. Real power is in choosing not to react. And when you master that, you become unstoppable. Now let us go even deeper. Because understanding this idea at a surface level is not enough. Real change happens when this becomes part of how you think, how you act, and how you live every single day. Most people believe that controlling reactions means controlling emotions. But that is not true. You cannot stop emotions from coming. You cannot stop feeling anger, sadness, or frustration. These are natural. They are part of being human. The real power is not in stopping emotions. The real power is in deciding what you do after you feel them. There is a small space between feeling and action. That space is where your power lives. Most people never notice this space. They feel something, and immediately they act. That is reaction. But when you become aware of this space, you start to see things differently. You realize that you do not have to follow every emotion. You can observe it, understand it, and then choose your response. Think about a moment when someone said something that hurt you. Maybe it was a comment, maybe it was a joke, maybe it was criticism. In that moment, your body reacts first. Your heart beats faster. Your thoughts become sharp. Your mind starts creating stories. You feel the urge to respond immediately. But if you can pause in that moment, even for a few seconds, everything changes. In those few seconds, your thinking becomes clear. You realize that their words do not define you. You understand that reacting will not improve the situation. You see that staying calm gives you more power than shouting ever could. This is not easy at first. Your mind is used to reacting. It has been trained for years to respond quickly. That is why practice is important. Every small moment is a chance to train yourself. When someone interrupts you, pause. When someone ignores you, pause. When something does not go your way, pause. At first, you will forget. You will react. That is normal. Do not feel bad about it. Just become aware. Notice your reaction. Learn from it. The next time, try again. Over time, this becomes natural. Now let us talk about another important idea. Not everything that happens in your life is important, but your mind treats everything like it is. This is why you feel overwhelmed. This is why small problems feel big. This is why you lose your peace over things that do not matter. You must learn to filter your attention. Ask yourself, will this matter tomorrow? Will this matter next week? Will this matter in 1 year? If the answer is no, then it does not deserve your energy today. Many people waste their time trying to correct others. They try to explain themselves. They try to change how people see them. But this is a losing game. You cannot control what others think. You cannot force people to understand you. And the more you try, the more frustrated you become. Instead, focus on what you can control. Your actions, your words, your behavior. Let your life speak for you. Let your consistency show your truth. Over time, the right people will understand, and the wrong people will not matter. There is also something important you must accept. Not everyone will like you. Not everyone will respect you. Not everyone will treat you fairly. And that is okay. Your peace should not depend on how others behave. Your peace should come from how you respond. When you stop expecting the world to be perfect, you stop getting disappointed. When you stop expecting people to behave the way you want, you stop getting hurt. You begin to accept reality as it is. And from that acceptance comes calmness. Let us take a simple example. Imagine you are waiting for a message from someone important. Hours pass, and they do not reply. Your mind starts creating stories. They are ignoring me. They do not care. Something is wrong. You feel frustration. You feel anger. You feel anxiety. But what if you pause? What if you step back and observe your thoughts? You realize that these are just assumptions. You do not know the truth. Maybe they are busy. Maybe they are dealing with something. Maybe it has nothing to do with you. This awareness changes your emotional state. Instead of reacting, you stay calm. Instead of creating stress, you create peace. This is how powerful your thinking is. Your thoughts shape your emotions, and your emotions shape your actions. When you control your thoughts, you control your reactions. Now let us go deeper into discipline. Discipline is not just about work. Discipline is about how you respond to life. It is about controlling your impulses. It is about choosing what is right instead of what feels easy. Reacting is easy. Anyone can react. It does not require thinking. It does not require control. But responding requires effort. It requires awareness. It requires discipline. That is why most people do not do it. They follow the easy path. They react and then they deal with the consequences later. But you are not like most people. You are learning something different. You are building a skill that will give you an advantage in every area of life. When you learn to respond instead of react, you become stable. You become reliable. People trust you more. People respect you more. Because they know you will not lose control easily. Now think about leadership. Who do people follow? Do they follow the person who reacts emotionally? Or do they follow the person who stays calm under pressure? The answer is clear. People follow calmness. People trust stability. People respect control. This is why learning this skill is so important. It is not just about avoiding problems. It is about building strength. It is about becoming someone who can handle anything without losing control. Let us also talk about patience. Patience is closely connected to control. When you are patient, you do not rush your response. You give yourself time to understand the situation. You give yourself time to think clearly. Impatience leads to reaction. Patience leads to response. In today's world, everything is fast. Messages are instant. Replies are instant. People expect immediate answers. But you do not have to follow this speed. You can slow down. You can take your time. You can choose when to respond. This alone will change your life. Now let us talk about inner peace. Peace is not something you find outside. Peace is something you build inside. And it starts with how you respond to situations. If every small thing disturbs you, you will never have peace. If every comment affects you, you will never feel stable. But when you learn to stay calm, when you learn to ignore what does not matter, when you learn to control your reactions, peace becomes natural. It is not something you have to chase. It becomes part of who you are. Now imagine your life if you master this. Imagine waking up every day without unnecessary stress. Imagine facing problems without panic. Imagine dealing with people without frustration. Imagine staying calm in situations where others lose control. This is possible, not in the future, but starting now. Every time you pause, you move closer to this version of yourself. Every time you choose calmness, you build strength. Every time you avoid reacting, you protect your peace. Let us make it even simpler. There are 3 steps you can follow every day. First, notice your emotions. Do not ignore them. Do not suppress them. Just notice them. Second, pause before acting. Give yourself a few seconds. Third, choose your response. Do not react automatically. Decide what is best. This simple process can change everything. Now remember this. You will not be perfect. You will make mistakes. You will react sometimes. That is okay. The goal is not perfection. The goal is progress. Every day, try to improve a little. Every day, try to stay calm in one situation. Over time, these small improvements become big changes. And one day, you will look back and realize that you are no longer the same person. You are stronger. You are calmer. You are in control. And that is the real goal. Because at the end of the day, life is not about what happens to you. Life is about how you respond to what happens. And when you master your response, you master your life. Stay calm, stay aware, stay in control. Because the less you react, the more powerful you become. And the more powerful you become, the more peaceful your life will be. Now let us take this understanding even further. Because true mastery does not come from knowing something once. It comes from living it every day, in every situation, until it becomes your natural way of being. There is something important you must realize. The world is not designed to stay calm for you. People will continue to behave in ways that test you. Situations will continue to appear that challenge your patience. Life will not slow down just because you want peace. That means your peace cannot depend on the world. Your peace must depend on you. When you understand this, you stop waiting for things to become easier. Instead, you become stronger. You stop hoping that people will change, and you start changing how you respond to them. This shift is powerful. It moves you from being a victim of circumstances to being in control of your experience. Think about how many times you expected someone to understand you. You expected them to respect you. You expected them to behave in a certain way. And when they did not, you felt hurt. But those expectations are often the source of your pain. When you remove unnecessary expectations, you remove unnecessary disappointment. This does not mean you accept bad behavior. It means you stop allowing bad behavior to control your emotions. You see things clearly, and you respond wisely. You protect your boundaries without losing your calmness. Let us talk about boundaries. Boundaries are not about controlling others. They are about protecting yourself. When you stay calm, you can set strong boundaries without aggression. You can say no without anger. You can walk away without guilt. You can choose distance without drama. Many people think that being calm means being passive. That is not true. Calmness is not weakness. Calmness is control. It allows you to act with clarity instead of reacting with emotion. Imagine someone repeatedly disrespects you. A reactive person will argue, shout, or try to prove a point. But a calm person will simply step back. They will reduce interaction. They will protect their space. They will not waste energy on someone who does not deserve it. This is strength. Now let us talk about clarity. When you are emotional, your thinking becomes unclear. You see things through your feelings instead of reality. This leads to poor decisions. But when you are calm, your mind becomes clear. You see situations as they are. You understand people better. You make smarter choices. Clarity comes from calmness, and calmness comes from control. There is also something important about timing. Not every situation needs an immediate response. Sometimes the best response is delayed. When you give yourself time, your perspective changes. What feels urgent in the moment often becomes unimportant later. This is why patience is powerful. It protects you from making decisions you will regret. It allows you to respond with wisdom instead of emotion. Now think about how this applies to communication. Most conflicts happen because people react instead of listening. They interrupt. They defend. They argue. They focus on winning instead of understanding. But when you stay calm, you listen fully. You understand the other person's point of view. You respond thoughtfully. This reduces conflict. This builds stronger relationships. Calm communication is powerful. It creates respect. It creates trust. It creates connection. Let us also talk about self-respect. When you control your reactions, you respect yourself. You do not allow others to control your emotions. You do not lower your behavior because of someone else's actions. You stay aligned with your values. This builds confidence. Not loud confidence, but quiet confidence. The kind of confidence that does not need to prove anything. The kind of confidence that comes from knowing you are in control. Now imagine facing a difficult situation in the future. Something unexpected happens. Someone behaves badly. Something goes wrong. In that moment, you have two choices. You can react like before, or you can use what you have learned. If you react, the situation becomes bigger. You lose your peace. You create stress. But if you stay calm, everything changes. You handle the situation with control. You protect your energy. You move forward without unnecessary damage. This is the difference between living with awareness and living on autopilot. Now let us talk about growth. Growth happens when you challenge your habits. It happens when you choose a better response, even when it feels difficult. It happens when you practice control instead of following your impulses. Every time you choose calmness, you grow. Every time you pause, you improve. Every time you avoid reacting, you become stronger. This growth is not always visible. It happens inside you. But over time, it changes everything. It changes how you think. It changes how you act. It changes how others see you. And most importantly, it changes how you see yourself. Now let us make this practical. Start with small situations. When something minor goes wrong, use it as practice. When someone says something small that irritates you, use it as practice. These small moments are training for bigger situations. If you can stay calm in small moments, you will be ready for bigger challenges. Now remember this. You do not have to react to everything. You do not have to respond to every situation. Sometimes the best action is no action. Sometimes the best response is silence. Sometimes the best choice is to move on. This is not avoidance. This is intelligence. Now think about your future again. Imagine yourself as someone who is calm, clear, and in control. Imagine handling situations with confidence. Imagine not being disturbed by small things. Imagine protecting your peace no matter what happens around you. This is possible, but only if you practice. So from this moment, make a simple commitment. Before reacting, pause. Before speaking, think. Before acting, choose. This commitment will guide you. It will protect you. It will strengthen you. And over time, it will transform you. Because the real power in life is not in controlling others. It is in controlling yourself. And when you master that, nothing outside you can shake you. Stay calm. Stay aware. Stay strong, because your peace is your power, and your power is your choice.